Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You can call me Mr. Johnson. This is my video dealing with toxic fans. Originally, this was going to be part of my open letter to the Disney board. For various reasons, I decided to separate it out. I believe this is an issue that is very much on the minds of Hollywood and other entertainment industry people these days. So, we'll just go over things real quick here. I want to talk about the types of toxic fans and what to do about them. I will not be talking about the non-fans that see something get triggered and want to cancel a show. So, the bigots, exactly what we would expect. The super fans might try to gatekeep, might get angry about lore mistakes, might have a personal interpretation that does not match the official interpretation and get angry. They might judge a new show on whether or not it fits. Okay? So, let's talk in general. The first part of this is really easy, we all know. Work with online communities, try to get rid of the toxic as much as we can, make sure that they help spread the word, not to gatekeep. Work with law enforcement to respond to harassment. Now, that's it for the easy stuff real fast. This brings me to a point that I want to make. When I was doing research for all this, I noted there was no lawsuits against any fans for the harassment of Kelly Marie Tran. And first, it's easy for me to say that I'm really pleased with the notion that Kelly and the Disney Corporation would be the proverbial better man, take the higher ground, if you will, and try to resolve things with more positive influences than negative. This is a commitment for them. But people have proven over and over and over again that some of us are just going to be assholes. You give a person a chance to think they will get away with it, and they're going to be an asshole. Not everybody, mind you, but some people will definitely do it. Now, that said, if we can take away some of that anonymity, some of that anonymousness, then maybe we can get people to behave themselves a little bit better. Or perhaps what we need is a way to better get to some of these people and drag them up in front of a court. I know for some fans, there will be a moment of, you know what, I messed up. I got carried away, I took things too far, and I apologize, sincerely apologize. And hey, if it never happens again, that's great. No problems there, right? But for those that continually want to be an asshole like that, I think maybe pulling them up in front of a judge and saying, as a country, as a culture, as a people, this is not something we allow. This is not something we approve of. This needs to be done differently, and it needs to be better. Okay? So, it was suggested that maybe some of these accounts are a little too anonymous, leading to making it hard for us to bring those lawsuits. So here's my suggestion, okay? Platforms like X, Facebook, various social media sites have celebrity verification and fan verification. Celebrity verification might look like a shield, might look like even a spotlight, I don't know. But the fan verification would look like maybe a movie ticket. Those that have applied for celebrity verification cannot be contacted by fans that have not been verified. Fans become verified by putting their phone number in the system and having their phone number verified. They also agree, maybe, that if anything happens, law enforcement can have access to their phone number if needed. Then, something happens, they contact a celebrity and they start making some threats. They start being a bad person. There's no reason why we couldn't send the law enforcement after them. Make sure that they are reminded to be on their best behavior when they are in a public space. And that being online is actually a public space. Now, that was general. Let's talk about specific real fast. We have type 1 bigots. We're not going to be able to do much to reduce the amount of bigotry, I think. At least not with any one show or any one sort of thing. But the big thing to note about bigots is that we do not want to make more. We don't want to glorify their views in any way. And we want to be careful about the triggers we put in that might cause causative bigots to come out. At least be aware of that sort of thing. For the superfans, I believe there's one thing above everything else that can help keep them pacified. And that is maintaining a canon. When you have an existing IP and you're maintaining all the facts right, they're not going to get angry about the mistakes because there is no mistakes. Their personal view of things isn't going to be challenged because we all agree on what the actual official view is. If they want to indulge in something that is personal, it's easy to see where the lines are drawn. When a new show comes out, they want to judge, see whether or not it fits. Again, if the canon is there, and we abided by it, we made sure that it all fit before they saw it, then it should fit fine and be good. Now, with all that said, there's been a lot of stuff said recently about how a show that I won't necessarily name did not find its audience because of the toxic fans. That the toxic fans prevented it from finding its audience. Now, there's a way to get around that, okay? This might not be exactly what we want to hear, but it is one way that we could conceivably think about. And to illustrate this, I've got two adult animations that have came out in the last 5 or 6 years as examples. Velma and Big Mouth. Velma was part of the Scooby-Doo IP. Immediately, everybody asked, is this really part of the Scooby-Doo IP? Does it meet the immutable characteristics that a Scooby-Doo cartoon must have in order to be considered Scooby-Doo? The answer was a resounding no. Now, I believe there are some people that took that and proceeded to be harassing with it. They proceeded to be toxic. And I believe there are some that took that. They took their measuring stick, they were very objective about it, and said, does this measure up? No, it does not quite get there. And I believe, however, that as a result, lots of people were called toxic that possibly shouldn't have been. Okay? Again, we need to be careful about calling people toxic if they're not. If they're being objective, maybe we need to realize that maybe we fucked up. Okay? Big Mouth, on the other hand, didn't have an existing IP to live up to. It didn't have a pre-existing fan base. It didn't have toxic fans because there were no fans. It found its audience and has had a strong run. If they'd said this was a Johnny Quest reboot, you know it would have gotten dogpiled on. It would not have fit for Johnny Quest. If this had been its own show, the Mindy Kaling show, it might have lasted for more seasons. It definitely wouldn't have had as many complaints because a lot of those complaints were related specifically to how well it fit with Scooby-Doo. So, if there's a possibility we are creating an IP, or creating a show, and we think maybe the toxic fans are going to be too much, maybe we need to take a page from Big Mouth here and make the show its own IP. Just a thought. I can definitely think of at least one place where that would have been a good choice. But thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good day. Hopefully this has been enlightening for you.